So the way that I see the hindrances, it's with this picture here, that you can split them into, since all of them are connected with ego, then you can split them into three pairs. The first two are the pairs where it's about wanting things and not wanting things. And that has the foundation in the ego, I am not a should be mentalities. That's very much about the mentality of the ego. The ego is never ever content. The ego always wants something different, something more, something else. It's never ever ever content. So whenever you are in a situation in your life where you become aware that you want something else, it can be you're sitting and meditating, your leg is asleep, and now you want to sit differently, then become aware that is a hindrance. That is a want. What is you don't want, you want something else. Obviously, that is like a very, very small example. In other areas where it's like bigger is normally about, I mean, consumerism is tied into this, isn't it? That you have something and you want something else. And that want never stops. It never ever ends, because it's such a foundational part of the ego, that I am not a should be. And there's always justification. There's always justification. You always justify, the ego always justify why it is like it is, and to see the world as it is. And the ego is never ever going to admit that it is justifying and that it's feeding itself. The two parts I just talked about, the ego is never going to admit that. It's always that, but there is something wrong with what is. I would like something else. You must understand that. And that's part of the ego. The other part is what I call the ego energy. And that is the energy that is tied into the want and into the avoidance. So it's either a restlessness because you're going towards something. There's something you want or you don't want. There's the restlessness, the never ever content with, and the restlessness. It's a mind. It's a mind mood or a mind state of mind, if you can say like that. It's whatever is happening in your mind that is not resting. It's like in the suttas, the restlessness is compared to that you have a bucket of water and the wind is coming over the water. So you're looking into the reflection of the water, and the water on the surface is never calm because the wind is going over the waters, and that is kind of like the feeling with the restlessness. That is one of the energies of the ego. The other one is the opposite, which is apathy, laziness, drowsiness, sloth and torpor. I mean, we never ever use those words, those terms in our language anymore, do we? But that is like the other part of it, that there's like nothing happening. That you might know that there's an issue, but you don't do anything about it. It's just left. Nothing is happening about it. And remember, again, the ego will keep justifying why nothing is happening. Oh, it's my childhood, I can't do anything about it. And then it's just parked over there. It's part of my childhood, can't do anything about it. I was never supported, and then it's just parked over there, and then you don't do anything about it. So whenever you are in the hindrances, you are justifying why you don't do anything about it. And the ego goes like, ah, great. I don't need to do anything about it. I've just justified why I don't do anything about it. And the last one about doubt, I call that the ego baseline, because that is the foundation of the ego. It's doubt. And doubt is something that it's such a massive experience, having doubt, and we have it all the time about so many things. And the only reason why we have these three is that, like you see on the picture here, there's the me, there's the identifying. We identify with each one of them. We can sit from now on and explain why it is like it is, and complain about it and blame other people, and never ever, release the distorted view of reality that we have. And that's because we're tied into the ego, tied into the identifying, and we're living through the 5 hindrances, and nothing happens.